There are two ways to access an object's property. The first way is by using the dot notation. Let's see that. Now let's say I want to access the population of Bengaluru. All I have to do is say cities by name dot Bengaluru. Now I get the Bengaluru object, and then I have to do dot population and I can access the population. So you can see that we use the dot notation twice. The dot notation is used when the name of the property is static. That means we already know the name of the property before even accessing it. So we know exactly what we are looking for. And the second condition is we can use the dot notation if this property is a valid JavaScript identifier. You can see that both population and Bengaluru, they are valid JavaScript identifiers. They can be used as variable names. So I can do Bengaluru equal to 1 and population equal to 2. And JavaScript allows us to use the dot notation in this case. Two conditions. One, the property must be static, it must be known, and secondly, it must be a valid JavaScript identifier. Next, let's move on to the square bracket notation. Square bracket notation is used in one of two cases. The first case is if the name of the property is known, but it is not a valid JavaScript identifier. Let's see an example. Now, if I want to add another property, let's say things to do in Bangalore, I can't say things to do because this is not a valid JavaScript identifier, as we can see in the error message. So now what we do is we create a string called as things to do and then wrap it up in a square bracket. Okay, now it is undefined and I will set it to all the things I want to do in Bangalore. So I want to see Kaban Park and I want to visit the Banerghatta National Park. So these are some things to do, and we have to use the square bracket notation in this case. Now the second case is more interesting. The second case is if we want to create or access a property which is not static, that is, it is something that is based on a state of the program itself. For that, we already have an example that you have seen previously. In this case, when we are constructing the cities by name object, we iterated through all the cities, we got the city name, and then we used this string which was fetched from our data and then created the object using this as the city name as the property name and finally the city object as the value corresponding to this property name. So this is a very powerful feature. So let's see it in more detail by writing a function which will increase the population of any given city. Now let's say we write a function increase population, takes two inputs, city name and incur by. So how much we want to increase the population by. So the first argument is a string, the second argument is a number. Now I can just say cities by name of city name dot population plus equal to this increment by value. So this is the function. Let's run it. So now if let's try to increase the population of Kolkata. I have cities by name of Kolkata dot population. It is this particular value right now. Now let's call the function, pass the string Kolkata as an argument, and then let's increase the population by 10. So now we can see that the value has increased by 10. So we wrote this generic function and it works for any city as long as it exists. This is a very powerful feature of objects, and we will use this feature to solve a lot of problems both in the real world and also some of the cases that you come across when you're solving problems. So let's see these examples in the next video. But first, I want you to solve a couple of warm-up problems. You'll see them in the description below.